time flies, doesn't it? It doesn't seem like that, you know. It seems like 10, if that.
10 years ago, I was working here.
I know. Yeah. Never forget you, mate.
Yeah, so I mean, how did you actually come across this place? What made you want to start a holiday complex?
Well, to start with, my brother was in a building game, and he'd hurt his back, and he just wanted to get out of the business and that, you know. So he thought about converting his garage into a fishing tackle shop. No, if you're a fisherman, you want your own lake or you want a fishing tackle shop, don't you?
Yeah.
It's your life's ambitions. So you want a fishing tackle shop. But in Colchester, we're inundated with fishing tackle shops, you know. So if I was you, I said I'd get a fishery in France. I'd just come back from my first fishing trip to France, you know.
Right.
Didn't think no more about it, but my brother, he thinks about things, you know. So about a week later, he come back and he said, so I thought about what you said, and he said, I want to do it. I said, let's do it together. I said, what are you on about? He said, that lake in France. He said, well, I said, oh, did I say that? I couldn't even remember, you know what I mean? I just talk for the sake of it half the time, you know. And so we sort of like put a plan together, you know. And one of our French friends who lives in England, Gingy, he was our interpreter, and we scouted out the original Dream Lake was near the River Seine, you know. Idyllic as it was weedy, it was big, and as much as people enjoyed it, fishing out of a boat and everything, you know, we want to have the French experience, you know, like rowing out, dropping your baits and things you didn't do in England, you know?
Yeah.
But as much as they enjoyed themselves, they wanted to catch something while they were waiting, you know? So we thought, if you're doing it as a business, we've got it wrong, you know?
It was a bit too tricky for the average angler.
Yeah, you need somewhere where people can catch fish, enjoy themselves. We knew after that year, we knew what we need and what we were looking for in it, you know? So Orest and Gingy scouted out for 6 weeks in big, like a 3-hour drive radius, a 4-hour radius, 5-hour, and we came across like this, the gravel people, who were really, really helpful and everything and that, you know? But they had their own ulterior motive as well, you know?
Right.
Because, as I said to them one time, I said, why do you help us so much? And they said, because you're very beneficial to our business in that, you know? He said, we've just bought another 1,000 hectares somewhere. He said, we want permits to extract the gravel. He said, we bring the mayor and an notaire to us and say, look what you can have when we finish. It wasn't a be-all and end-all to us because I was even involved with Mainline, my brother's a successful builder and everything, you know. It was sort of like a hobby come job, if you know what I mean, you know. We didn't need to make a living out of it.
Right.
So everything we made, we reinvested, you know. There was carp in here already, you know. We didn't know how many, and we bought 400 and stocked them. And after the first couple of weeks, you wouldn't think there was a fish in here, you know. People were struggling for a bite. The 62 came out and a few other things in it, you know. But what I thought was going to be a good stocking, and I thought on a bad week, 100 fish are caught. On a good week, half of them are caught. That's 200 fish. I thought that's not a bad average, you know. But it doesn't happen, you know. So 400 fish wasn't enough. So then I was scouting around Europe using all my contacts through Mainline and everything, all our friends and that. And I found a German guy who told me he could get some fish, because this is out of season now, you know, for fish.
Right.
He could get some fish from Italy, and they were driving into Bosnia in the war, you know, under armed guard and everything, you know. And they brought the fish back to near Milan, near the River Po, and they told us there was these big fish, it was £10,000. We organised a lorry and a trailer, that cost us £5,000 for 10 tonne of fish, you know. So we went down there, I sent my brother down there with like two greasy French lorry drivers, you know what I mean, who didn't speak English, and my brother can't speak, you know what I mean, he struggles to speak Essex, you know. So he had this big 3-day journey down to France, Italy, sorry, and when he got there, they said, oh, all the fish are dead, all we've got are these little things, you know what I mean? Oh. It was a lie, I know now, you know what I mean? So he said, what should I do? I said, well, get the biggest ones you can, put them on a tank behind the lorry, because I think it was about 10 tanks on the lorry, and the trailer was as big as the lorry, you know. So it took him 3 days to get back, because you can't go through Switzerland. So you have to take the scenic route, you know what I mean, through Italy and all the way through France. And in the meantime, I organised for Lake 2, which was a 20-acre lake, and then the majority of fish we stocked into there. And then we had to reorganise another lodge to be built. Now all of a sudden, overnight, we're doubled in size, you know? Yeah, do you know what I mean? And then our French friend, John Claude, who used to buy the fish from, he had 3 lakes just up the road there, like half a mile down there, like 3, 4 and 5. He wanted to get rid of them, so we thought, well, we better get them before someone else does, you know, because they're on our doorstep. And we thought we'd have them as stock ponds and self-drive, but everybody wants the package, you know. We've ended up with 5 lakes, on average 50 customers a week, you know.
Wow.
And 2 coaches, 2 big trailers, everything like that, you know. Yeah, we've got like 5 full-time bailiffs and that, looking after people. Like, they are professionals. They're not here to help you out and do their fishing, you know. The customer comes first and the fishing's a bonus to them, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I mean, I know what it's like, mate. There was always stuff to do, you know. The amount of cleaning we used to do. I mean, that lodge is kept immaculate, isn't it, all the time?
The one thing we can't control is what happens with the fishing each week, you know. I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. It's weather dependent, you know what I mean? High pressure, the sun, everything affects fish worldwide. The things we can control to make sure we enjoy ourselves are the quality of the food, the cleanliness, the way you get looked after, the help and advice. A lot of people go back home from here better anglers than they come, you know, because of the way that the bailiffs help them out and everything, you know, and refine their rigs for them and things like that. Nothing's complicated over here. There's a wide band of angler from, like the novice, whose biggest fish might be a 13 pounder, you know what I mean? Because he lives in Newcastle and he's almost apologetic that his biggest fish is 13 pound. And if he catches a 20, he'll be over the moon. And you just know he's going to catch 40s and 50s, and you know what I mean? It's nice, isn't it? You know.
But then, like you say, at the other end of the scale, you get really good anglers here too, who come because they know they're going to get well fed, and they know that the fishing's not that hard. You know, they fish well, they're going to catch well.
They come for the holiday.
And obviously the fantastic fishing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, mate, it's come on leaps and bounds since I was here, you know, 10 years ago. I mean, you see them in the papers every week, don't you? 50s and 60s as well. And
well, that's because we strive to keep the water quality as well, you know.
Well, it's like the boilie thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's a boilie only water now. What were exactly the reasons for that?
Oh, we've been through the mill, my friend. Like stocking, nature tries to find its own balance. You know, you can't. This is artificially high stocking levels. You know, don't ask me what the stocking levels are, so I've totally lost control. You know, but they've balanced themselves out, and they really do work. You know, but a few years ago, we had some problems with the fish. The fish was the catch rates was declining, and that, you know. So we have Simon Horton, our fishery management consultant, came round, done water samples and everything. He said, "Oh, you've got high ammonia levels," you know. So we assumed, more so on two, you know. We just automatically assumed that, oh, maybe the toilet system's leaking, you know. And he said, no, it's not. He said, because the ammonia level will be higher near the lodge, you know. But we had to take it out of the equation, so we had it all dug up, redone. It cost us a lot of money just to take that out of the equation. And the ammonia level stayed the same. So we thought, maggots. But what happens with a high ammonia levels, and apparently Koi people know this because they can see their fish because they're in the lovely clear water. The fish go torpid, right? They don't feed. So the more bait you put in to try and make them feed, makes it worse. You know, they just won't feed if their conditions are not right.
Yeah.
Know? And some guys had suggested that we should ban spodding because the vast amount of pellets going in. People were just spodding for the sake of spodding, and then leaning on the lodge door saying, "I've just spent 12 hours spodding," as if that was in a feat in itself. You know? Honestly, yeah, that would just make my arm ache for an hour. You know? But I mean, they were trying, you know what I mean? But unbeknownst to us, that was the cause of the problem. And just before we implemented the spod ban, Simon Horton come back to us. He'd taken silk samples and had them all analysed and everything. And he told us our problem was on a microbiological level, and it was the pellets that were causing it. So we resolved the problem instantly, or virtually, and now the water quality is brilliant. And we banned the pellets. We don't allow hemp or tiger nuts. Good baits as they are, but they're not beneficial to the fish or the fishery.
No. Well, these days, obviously, you know yourself, when you work with mainline and that time, boilies are fantastic quality, aren't they? They're designed to be good for the fish, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, obviously...
I mean, to start with, we had about 50 people cancel because, oh, well, I've lost my edge, I can't... A good angler's still a good angler, regardless what bait he's using, you know what I mean? And people, they thought, I just wanted to sell mainline bait because of my involvement with mainline bait.
Yeah.
I don't care whose bait you use, you know what I mean? I say to people, they say, what should I use? I say, whatever you got the most confidence in. But if you're asking me, go with the flow, you know what I mean? Dream Lake Specials or the Cell, to be honest, you know what I mean? You know, there's some bad baits out there as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And invariably, they're the ones you don't pay a lot of money for, you know what I mean?
That's right,
Yeah, but if you're paying a lot of money for your holiday, it's a small thing, you know, just pay that bit extra and get a decent bait to go with it, you know?
Yep, I totally make you right, mate. Well, it obviously hasn't affected the fishing at all.
It's improved it a lot, yeah.
There's still huge amounts of big fish getting caught, so it's only good stuff for the future, really, isn't it, mate?
I hope so, mate, yeah.
I mean, is this it? You're going to take any more lakes on, and what else have you got planned for the complex?
No, we're happy with what we've got at the moment, you know. If it gets any bigger, it turns into a heartless machine, you lose that camaraderie. I mean, I know we have 50 people a week. There's like 15 people on here, you wouldn't think it. 18 on there, you wouldn't think it. And we go down on 3, 4 and 5. You've got solitude. The only time we all get together is at meal times. And that's just like being back at school. I really enjoy it. I go there a half hour early just so I can have a crack with the lads and that, you know what I mean? I really do enjoy it, you know. And as to the future, how big can you get?
Well, that's it. Well, you're obviously doing it very right, mate. Obviously, we've been around the complex and there's loads of people that have been here before. One bloke's been here 12 times, so
Yeah.
you know he loves the place.
Yeah, like I said before, about 80% of our business is repeat, you know.
And that just shows you you're doing it right, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
you know you got it right. Yeah. People prefer the coaches and things like that, you know. They really do, and that is our forte, is the complete package, you know. Where people appreciate, we get like an older, responsible clientele, and we've sort of found our niche in the market. Middle-aged guys, invariably, you know what I mean? They still enjoy it, laugh and they joke and everything, but they appreciate that they've got nice food. They appreciate that the toilets are spotless and things like that. Do you know what I mean? You know, they prefer the complete package and they don't mind paying for it. You know.
All the hard work's taken out of it.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's why they come. Yeah, they come because it's a holiday with fishing thrown in.
First one after dinner, after about 10 minutes of being back. Ripped off, fish everywhere still. Fishing down the centre of the lake, probably about 50 yards out, over a bit of silt. Big bed of bait down. The new Grange by Mainline. And the fish love it. Munching away like mad. This is number 47, I think, 48. Come on now. There she is. Oh, nearly come out then. There we go. Oh, spot on.
Now some people like to come to Dream Lakes just to catch a few fish and chill out, get away from it all, and then you've got Dave. Dave is a hauling machine. How many times have you been here, Dave?
Fifth time now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what's the most amount you've had on a trip here?
99.
Really?
Yeah, 99 in a week.
What sort of stats did you have in amongst those? Like big ones?
I think I had 4 40s, up to 42.
Wicked.
I think I had like 30 odd 30s, and the rest were just 20s and teens.
How about this week? Any big ones?
35 8, so
Yeah?
not too bad. But it's more catching a lot in it. So
Yeah, so you seem to be going through the numbers. So,
Yeah.
come on in, mate. What's your secret?
Fill it in.
Yeah?
Just give them some food. They're starving, the big fish, so.
There's a lot of them in here, isn't
Yeah,
there?
there's a lot of fish, yeah.
Just
A lot.
creating a sort of a bit of competition.
Big massive an
and-
area. Get them interested, and then just try and keep them there.
Right. So what sort of numbers when you got here? How much bait did you actually put out?
Start with, we put 20 kilos in straight away.
Did you?
Yeah. It was slow to start with, started catching a couple in the evening, and then it was just a case of just keep piling it in and piling it in. Once you get on it, just keep the bait going in.
So how much you gone through now?
Just under 50.
Really? Blimey.
Yeah, getting low now.
Obviously works.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously fishing over loads of bait. What sort of rig you fishing on it?
Basic. Safety zone leader, safety clip, and then just as basic as you like.
So a bit of
Bit
hybrid
of a
soft?
wafter, no, it's Supernatural.
Yep.
Size 8s or 6 hooks, depending, and then a little wafter and half a pop-up.
So do you think that visual thing gets your bites quicker when fishing over loads of bait?
Yeah, but now I'm just changing back to just boilers now, because I'm finding that they're just picking up just the boilers on their own.
Yeah.
I do think it's worth changing it up baits. That's what I find anyway.
Well, do you ever, I don't suppose you need to, I was going to say, do you ever try washed out baits, but you catch so many, you don't need to, do you?
They don't stay in the water long enough to get washed out.
Excellent. So other than the fishing, what else keeps you coming back here?
Yeah, the food, bailiffs, just everything. It's full package. Perfect place to come. Big fish, lots of them. It's perfect.
So you'll be coming back again?
Definitely, if Mrs. will let me. Yeah.
Spot on. All right, mate. Well, obviously, you've still got a good few days, so we'll leave you hauling, and no doubt we'll see you with a few more fish yet.
Hopefully, to get a big one. Yeah.
Top man.
We'll
Be
see,
lucky.
yeah. Cool, thank you.
Wherever you go around the complex, you're never far from a fish being caught. Dream Lakes prides itself on its bailiffs, all of whom are accomplished anglers, more than willing to help you in absolutely any aspect of the sport. At the end of the day, if you're happy in catching carp, then so are they, and they'll spend as much time as you want helping you. They want to see you on the bank, holding a Dream Lakes carp.
It's a little bit cooler today, there's a bit more cloud cover and a bit more movement in the air, so it's a lot more comfortable and a lot more carpy looking. So fingers crossed, something's going to happen. Going to have a little chat with Rail in a minute, see what rigs he's using, and he's been in the world of carp fishing since he's, well, as Zen would say, knee-high to a grasshopper, so I'm sure he's got a few interesting things to say. Right, mate, before we have a look at your rigs, obviously I think it's fair to say you had quite a privileged upbringing as far as carp fishing is concerned. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How did it all start?
But it all started when my dad, I was only a baby or something, you know, just being thought of. My dad used to fish all the time, and then he sort of got out of it and sort of dropped out, sold all his gear and all that. And then I suppose I was about 5 or 6, and he used to take me around Lower Pits where he used to fish. And I sort of wanted to go again, you know, so he's borrowed tackle and just took me over a little lake like Chigborough and all that.
Yeah.
Over there, that's where I first sort of caught my first carp, I suppose. And then I heard of someone catching a double, and I thought, what's a double? Well, I want to catch a double. So then he's took me to another lake where I've caught a couple of doubles, and then he's got back into it, bought all the gear again, and we've ended up over Harefield, like, you know, like one of the hardest lakes at the time.
With all the sort of biggest names in carp fishing at the time, I suppose, wasn't it? Who do you have, like, what, Rob Malin?
Yeah, Rob Malin, Phil Harper, all the famous 5. You know, all of them, like, and such characters, you know, that's what I was brought up with and who I was brought up with, you know.
Weren't there, what was it, the famous 5? Didn't they have a little...
Oh, yeah, because I used to catch more fish than sort of him. I couldn't cast, so he had to cast, so he had to get that one in. There was a lot of quiet joke that used to be called the famous 6 and a bit. I was the 6, he was the bit.
Brilliant. So what other lakes do you fish in? I know you fished Snake Pit, didn't you, back in the day?
Everyone's come over there, you know, again, Nashi, Rob Malin, all the faces were over there trying to catch this common.
Actually, yeah, wasn't there a story about you nearly breaking Nashi's fingers or something?
Yeah, he just brought these bed chairs out and like we were setting one up. I was only young, and he put the elastic through with a big knot and a big metal like end on it, pulled it really tight, said now hold that while he's like trying to get it back through. Of course, me being young, I just thought and let it go and welted him on the fingers. He weren't happy, but what can he say, you know?
Brilliant. And what about Fridays at school?
Yeah, when I was at school, I used to always go fishing on a Thursday after school, like the old teacher do the register and say, right, see you all Friday morning, Rail, have a nice weekend, you know, and I used to be gone. Just madness. But
Excellent. Well, like I say, I know you're sort of a bit modest in that, but for anyone who doesn't know Rail, pretty much every lake he goes to, you know, you catch loads, don't you, mate? Very impressive angler. Anyway, right, enough of bigging you up. Let's have a little look at your rigs.
where I'm spraying bait about out on one of the spots, you know, just spraying it everywhere. So I've got quite a longer hook length than what I would use normally, you know.
Soft braid.
Yep, it's that Supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have like a 18mm boilie. I've cut, as you can, I don't know if you can see. No, I've cut a section off the top.
Yeah.
And half a high vis.
Sort of capped it with, what was that, a milky toffee?
Yeah.
So does that sort of just sit it up right?
Yeah, it just sits it like that.
Takes the weight of the hook off?
Yeah, that's why I'm fishing it like KD style, this one. You know, obviously, you know, I mean, everyone must know how to tie the old KD style now. It's been around for ages.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, a couple of the little sinkers and that, and that's been doing the business at the moment. The white as well. You know, I've been changing it from white, yellow, pink, but the white seems to be doing the one at the minute. And the one I'm spodding over on another 2 rods, I'm using like that, exactly the same, really KD, but it's half a dumbbell. Yeah, and the soft coated braid, which I don't think you can get hold of anymore.
Oh, the hybrid soft.
Yeah, I really like it. I don't know why they've stopped doing it, but that's exactly the same, but it's just a dumbbell cut in half. Just making little bags up and putting them on like that.
Just so it don't tangle and...
Yeah, just a bit round it.
Bit of extra attraction.
Yeah. Where it's like, it's gravelly out there, but you never know, it could have a bit of, you know, skack or anything like that on the top of it.
So you like to keep things fairly simple then, mate?
Oh yeah, I'm not into all this. That's simple. I mean, putting them sinkers on is like, that's technology, that is for me. You know, I don't normally do things like that. Just chuck it and chance it.
So what would you say you're actually spodding out then? Just chopped up boilies?
Yeah, I just like chop a load up in a food blender at home. If not, I use the quarter crusher if I run out. And to stodge it up, because when you cast, it all sprays out the back.
Right.
So I've been getting the coconut syrup, giving a good squirt in there, mixing it up.
So was that to make it a bit stickier?
Yeah, because when you chop them up in the food blender or the crusher, you do get dust, you know, and after a while, when you're mixing around in it all the time, it comes to dust. So that, with that in it, you can poke it down and it sticks in the back, you know. So
right.
It's better, you know, you can't use ground bait or nothing like that here, so.
So it's a good way of sort of creating an area for him to get grubbing in. So you've got sort of 2 different feeding situations,
Yeah.
if you like, and you know, sort of scattering baits on one.
And if one catches more than the other, I can put 2 rods on that side if I need to, you know, because they're both fished at the same distance, it's just along the bottom of the bar, so. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get a bite soon. I think it's due one.
Yeah, definitely looks up for it, mate.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah.
Cool. All right, we'll get the old kettle on, shall we?
Yeah, go on in.
42. One of many 40s in Lake 2. I think I might fish tonight. I haven't been fishing the other nights, but with these things out there, definitely going to give it a go. Mainline Grange again, fantastic.